Hello everybody, my name is Kara, and today I am here with the BookTube Makes Me Happy tag. This tag was created by the Book Ponderer, and I was tagged by the lovely Miriam from Between Lines in Life, and I will of course link both of them down below. Question number 1 is, what kinds of BookTube content makes you feel good or gives you encouragement? I don't know if this is necessarily like what content I make that does that or that I see other people do, but I think my answer is kind of the same actually, and primarily that's just seeing people excited about things. So like especially with unique video ideas, like if somebody has been wanting to try something for a long time and then they finally do it, that just makes me so happy for them. Like Rocky from Blonde with a Book, she recently did a like lyrics kind of analysis book video that I really loved, and you could just tell that she was so happy to finally be doing this idea that she thought about for a while. And like Miriam, she actually did one recently that was about like booktube and like media culture, like mass culture and things. And you could just tell that they were both so happy to be doing something that they had wanted to for a long time, and that just, I really love that. And then also I kind of want to speak up in defense of book hauls because I do think those are fun, and I do think they can be like, they get you excited, you know, about new books. Like, they might be new releases that I hadn't heard of before, or they might be old ones, you know, backlist titles that you don't see people talk about as much. I know a lot of people don't like book hauls. You know, that's fine. Like, don't watch them, that's okay, but I think that could be really fun. And I've actually found personally that it can be a really interesting way to get kind of a different description of a book, you know, like seeing what made somebody excited enough to buy a book or to check a book out from the library. Like, that can be what actually convinces me to get it, you know? Number 2, how has BookTube motivated you or encouraged you to do something you might not have done otherwise? So a big one for me has been the actual filming process, like the part of it, because I feel like I've mentioned this in a lot of videos recently, but it has been applicable. I am an actress, like I do perform, and I've always just thought of myself as not being very good on camera at all. Like, live theater is kind of where my passion is, it's where I did a lot of my training, so I just kind of always thought of myself as somebody who's like not good on film. And so getting to do this and getting to see that, like, oh, I can really enjoy this, I can be good at this, you know, like that has been just really nice for me, and it's just been so great to kind of expand my horizons to something that I just had written off before I really tried much of it. And I also think that having a BookTube channel has encouraged me to be a little more okay with sharing unpopular or negative opinions, because like there's some people I know very well, like friends or family, who like I'm not afraid to complain to them about things like books or whatever, but I think in general I'm kind of like, I'm not always as comfortable sharing things that I don't like or like coming off as unhappy about something. Not so much now. Like, I guess if you watch some of my recent like unpopular opinion videos or tags or whatever, you might be kind of surprised, but I really do think that BookTube has been a huge help in getting me to like own my opinions and to be okay disagreeing with people and sharing them. Number 3, how has BookTube inspired you to put more positivity out into the world? Compliments, first off. I think BookTube has really inspired me through like the commenting process and everything. It kind of reminded me of how wonderful and important compliments are, even just little things. So I'm really trying to be better now, and I think I am getting better about, like in real life or on a video or whatever, if I see something that I like about someone, if they do a really good job with something, or if I just like how their hair looks or whatever, I will tell them that, because it really is true that just a small compliment or statement like that, it can really just brighten up your whole day, you know, especially if you're having kind of a bad one and then somebody says something just really like specific and nice. It's like, oh, somebody noticed something about me that made them happier. You know, that's just really a wonderful thing, and I'm trying to share that more. Number 4, what is your favorite comment to hear someone say about you or your channel? And I love when my kind of more out there, or I guess like unusual video ideas, I love hearing from people that they really like them. You know, that kind of experiment worked. Like my recent pairing artwork with book recommendations video, the response to that was so wonderful, and it made me so happy that people really enjoyed seeing this kind of like out there idea that I had, and just hearing from people that I tried something kind of unusual and it worked, like it worked for them. That is just so wonderful. I also love hearing from people who say that they really like my tag videos, or that they think they're like really unique, or they hear about books they haven't before. And just in general, hearing from people that they like that I talk about underhyped books, or saying like, and like hear about books that I haven't heard about before, that really does mean a lot to me, because that is something that I'm very passionate about. I'm a huge fan of sharing underhyped books and recommendations. Like, I think that's one of the great things about BookTube and the book community, is like discovering hidden gems and then sharing them with other people so maybe they're not so hidden anymore. I just think that's really exciting, and it makes me really happy when people get that from my channel. But pretty much any compliment or comment or whatever, you know, especially if it's like a specific thing, like something where you could tell that the person really like really like connected to a certain part of my video or to what I was saying. Just, they all make me feel good, honestly. Also, I never get tired of like lipstick and makeup comments. Like those just make my day. Number 5, what are some unexpected happy surprises of BookTube? And I think one of the biggest ones is like people say like the friendships and everything, and I totally agree with that. I think specifically what has been the biggest surprise and the like nicest surprise is how quickly some of these friendships got really close, you know? Like I remember when I first started my channel, I would refer to people, if I was talking like in real life to somebody, like I would refer to people as like, oh, like one of my BookTube friends, or like, oh, somebody I know online, or whatever. And then there was a point where I just dropped that and I just started saying like, oh, my friend said this book is really good. Because it really does, it's like you don't need to qualify it, and like seeing that transition and like realizing that of like, oh, these are friends. Like they're not like online friends or like BookTube friends that are somehow like not as close or not as good. It's just been a really nice surprise that it's like we can have these really like personal and, you know, deep friendships, and they started online. Number 6, what is a positive outcome you've gotten from making videos? And I would definitely say confidence in general, but especially there's like this really specific thing that I think, like I can't imagine this happening if I hadn't started my BookTube channel, and that is being okay with my voice, like not hating the way my voice sounds. Because I remember the first time I heard my voice on a recording, I was like horrified. I was like, oh my god, how do I have friends? How do people talk to me? I thought it was really just irritating, like grating and too high pitched, and just I hated my voice. And then like you kind of have to get used to it when you're like filming and then like watching it back and editing, and like basically you get very used to hearing the sound of your own voice. And I basically, like, I don't even remember when it happened, but there came a point where I didn't mind my voice anymore. Like I didn't hate it, and I actually like kind of like my voice now, you know. I'm okay with how I sound, and I think it fits my personality, and like that was a really big deal for me, because that's something that I've struggled with about myself, especially being a performer, for a really long time. So to have that turn into a positive experience has just been incredible. Number 7, which booktubers make you laugh? And there are a lot of these, but the ones I can think of off the top of my head are Olivia from Read by Liv. I just am so impressed by how funny her editing is, and like that's something that I'm always really impressed with, because I don't understand. I'm like, how can you make editing a video hilarious? Like there's not even a joke. It's just like the way you cut things. And anyway, I just think that's really amazing, and it always feels very true to her personality. And then another one who I think is so funny is Hannah from Snow White and the Seven Shelves. She is so creative and intelligent and just like hilarious. Like even watching her recent like Disney and Shakespeare video, which is like a discussion kind of video, even that one was just like so funny. And also Emma from Emma Novella, she's just like so effortless in how funny she is, and I just really admire that. But yeah, there are lots of booktubers who are really funny. Number 8, which booktubers warm your heart and make you feel all happy inside? So again, there are so many people I could mention, so I'm just gonna kind of do like stream of consciousness. Ashley Stormo, Laura from Paperback Laura, Katie from A Sea of Tomes, Huck from Badger Reads, Lori from Lori and Thomas, Amy from Blonde and Bookish, Trisha from Tell Her a Story, Hannah from Lynn Hermione, Annie from Annie the Booktuber, Shelby from Read and Find Out. These are just some of the many people who just make my heart feel so full every time I watch their videos. Like I feel like all of these people just have a very calming and peaceful and warm energy. Number 9 is, who are some of your favorite commenters who don't have their own channel? And I'm gonna shout out Allison. I think that's her username is just Allison. She's just left some like really kind and wonderful and specific, again, you know, comments on my videos, and it really does mean a lot to me. It's like people who watch BookTube and who like don't have channels, we're just as much a part of this community as content creators, and that's the same goes for people who don't comment. You know, maybe you can't comment on every video you watch, or like maybe you don't even have a YouTube account. I know that I, for a really long time, even after I had discovered BookTube and was starting to watch BookTube, for the longest time I didn't have a YouTube account, so I couldn't comment on the people that I really loved. But you know, I would watch, and I don't think you could even like videos if you didn't have a YouTube account. So it was, you know, I was kind of an invisible BookTube viewer, but it's like, I know from experience that you're still a part of this community. And finally, question number 10 is, what is something new you can do to put more positive energy out into BookTube? And for me, that's definitely got to be doing more BookTuber shout-out videos. I think at this point I have only done one, and my problem is, you can kind of tell from the way I answered some of the previous questions, but I get so wrapped up in like not wanting to forget anyone that I'm like, okay, well I have too many to talk about, so I don't know, like, who can I cut? Because I love all of these people equally, and it's like, how can I just like not talk about some of them? So I kind of just get paralyzed by the number of people that I want to shout out, and then I just like don't do the video, and I hate that, and I know it's so stupid, and I just need to like, I just need to do one. Okay, everybody, so that was the BookTube Makes Me Happy tag. As far as people I'm going to tag, let's just say that anybody I mentioned or like shouted out in this video, who by the way I will of course link everyone in the description box, but if I mentioned you in this video and you would like to do this tag, please do it. It just feels really good to like give credit to other people and to also talk about what you like about what you're doing, because I think that's a really important thing, and it's easy to get down on ourselves and to be our harshest critics, so it's really nice to have an opportunity like this to just really, I don't know, show some love for ourselves and for others. Like, not to say we don't have work to do with some of the things in the community, but there's also a lot to love, and I love that this tag celebrates that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you soon with another video, and I hope you love the next book you read. Bye!